Hello and welcome to Forever Rugby on First Sport for today's URC Round 3 preview and a pretty stacked weekend. And the South African sides at the moment very much on the charge and have actually not lost any matches against a foreign opposition throughout the season. However, some very big opponents for South Africans, the likes of Edinburgh at home, Leinster at home. None of the South African sides actually playing at home this weekend. So if there was going to be one weekend where South Africans getting a full house would be incredibly impressive, this would be it, because it is an absolutely huge ask for them to go out and get all 4 for 4. But there's some very nice games throughout the weekend. And, the URC is the best league. This is what we know. URC equals best league, as we do say on Twitter and the like. So, before you look at some of the matches and some of the matchups, please do smash a like on the video and subscribe to the channel as well. We all start in Scotland with Edinburgh hosting the Lions this evening. And the Lions are currently, obviously a bit being done as a Lions fan, but pretty much the surprise package of the season so far. I don't think anybody, really imagined them being as competitive as they have been. And I think that a lot of credit needs to go to the coaching staff, because credit to them really for being able to get this Lions side firing despite having lost so many players. And I think that if they were to get a result tonight, it would just show you how a coaching staff united, team united, can be so lethal despite not necessarily having the players to compete. Well, in theory, shouldn't have had the players to compete. So I think this will be a very big ask for them. Emiliano Bafeli is back for Edinburgh. It's a huge boost. Their back three of Henry Immelman, Darcy Graham, and Emiliano Bafeli, having Blair Kingwon at flower half. It's a very good Edinburgh side. Lots of international quality throughout that side. Hamish Watson starting. Leon de Bruin and Bowen Fenter are in the front row. And I think that Lions scrum was very impressive. And I think that what was so impressive about last week's victory for the Lions is the fact that they adapted to the conditions and managed to get a result. But I do think Edinburgh obviously go into the match as the favourites. And I think a losing bonus point would mark off a very successful tour for the Lions. Connacht versus Munster. Now, it's not a Munster side that have really hit the ground running so far this season. They currently sit in 10th place. However, Connacht have been very poor and almost abject to a certain degree. They really have not looked good. They do have a couple of players back. Carty's back, and that's a massive boost to that Connacht side. And I think that being at home will get a bit of a boost, and hopefully they'll be a bit more solid. But I think they're playing against the Munster side, who are desperate to really sort of click and come. And as a result, I do think that Connacht could be in for a very long night if they don't sort of pitch up early. That sports ground, and whenever you're at home, you've got that small little advantage, and Connacht will be looking to try and make that count. Now, Zebra versus Stormers. I think if we had talked about this game a month ago, we would have said they're easy win for the Stormers. But the Zebra side has not gone away, not in any of their matches that they played so far. And I don't think it's going to be long before they manage to sort of turn their sort of second half comebacks and the efforts into a victory. And whilst the Stormers have looked very good so far, and I think defensively they looked very solid, I do think first game away, first game overseas, against a side whose confidence is just growing, will be a lot trickier than it would have been a couple of weeks ago with Zebra not having the confidence that they now have. So it's also very interesting, sort of Storm's backline. Sachin Gomez-Zulu is starting at 12, so a very big opportunity for the youngster. Damian Villains at 15, Manibok at 10, so there's a lot of flair in that backline for the Stormers. The question is, can they get front foot ball? Will the conditions play into their hand in terms of being able to run the ball and being able to have the opportunity to really use those players? Then the big game of the weekend is Leinster taking on the Sharks, and the Sharks very much under pressure because they're a side that haven't clicked into gear despite having so many good players. But this Leinster side is very good. Johnny Sexton is starting. It's an internationally stacked side. Sharks obviously still missing a lot of Springbok players. They are 2 for 2 with the Sharks. If we, we do have to be fair to them. They have won the first two games that they've played. But not particularly convincing, and I think that this will probably be a step too far for them. I do expect Leinster to actually win this probably quite comfortably, if you're being honest. I think a good result for Sharks would be to try and score a couple of tries and then not become a cricket score, because I just don't think it's a Sharks side that's firing on all cylinders. And whenever there's doubt, I think a team like Leinster can really expose that. It can really drive that kind of that home. So then you've got Scarlets taking on Cardiff, 15 versus 13. Both the Welsh teams not off to particularly good starts, not really pitching up so far this season, but a big opportunity for one of them to try and take the opportunity to try and build a bit of momentum. The Welsh sides have generally been very poor so far, and does unfortunately fared quite badly in the competition, but I think it reflects the state of Welsh rugby that they have had such a difficult start. And I don't think for the Welsh side it's getting any easier with Ulster currently in third place, taking on Ospreys at the Kingspan. Ulster almost mounted a bit of a comeback against Leinster last weekend. I don't think it was a bad result for them, but I think Ulster are a side that could go all the way. Dwayne Muir starting for South African fans who are quite invested in that sort of clash. I do expect Ulster to be able to get the result, but I think Ospreys, hopefully, it is a side with a lot of international quality, and I do think that they will be more competitive the longer that they sort of play together and start to all sort of gel together. And then the last two games, we've got the Bulls taking on the Glasgow Warriors. It's at the Scotstoun Stadium, and it's a very good Bulls side. I know Hendrik Wessels gets their start, and I think it's a Bulls side with growing with confidence. We still haven't quite seen the perfect defensive and attacking display from them, but I also think that going over to Europe, they're a side that can play quite almost sort of 10-man rugby, can play quite compact if they want to, but they have an opportunity to spread the ball wide. Obviously, a lot of very dangerous backline players in that Bulls side now, and a very large pack that are there to impose. And Glasgow Warriors, 11th in the log, not had the start there. I mean, they had a bit of a poor start, then they had a fantastic result. They've been quite up and down so far, have the Warriors. Haven't been that consistent, and they've had some very good patches, some very poor patches. But I think a consistent performance from them would push the Bulls all the way. And I think that on the face of it, whilst it does look like a pretty comfortable win for the Bulls, you never write off a side at home. And I think the Warriors are waiting. They're one performance away. I think they're one match away from really being able to get the job done there. And then the last match, Benton versus Dragons. Now, Benton have had a very good start to the season. At home, they actually backed them to get the result. And whilst the Dragons have definitely not been the sort of rollover team they were a year ago, I think going away to Benton, or a side playing with a lot of confidence, this will be quite a tough game for the Dragons. I do think Benton, if they can get another victory at the moment, despite losing quite a lot of players, Benton I think they've recruited quite well. And they've proven to be very competitive. Unfortunately, we don't have any watch-alongs at this stage. We are trying to work on a few presenters, so that might change. But we will have match trackers. Anybody that can't watch the game, we will have live scoreboards, live tracks and stuff operating for all 4 South African games. And if they do well, then we'll start doing those a little bit more for sort of the games that we can't cover live as watch-alongs. We are going to try our endeavour to try and get watch-alongs going. So just keep monitoring the channel for what's going on. Let me know what your predictions are down in the comments below. Please do smash a like on the video and subscribe to the channel as well. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Steven. I'll chat to you soon.